So today we have with us the Treasury Board President of Ontario, Prabmeet Sarkaria, with us. In this interview, we will be talking in regards to the recent fall economic statement that is released. Alongside that, we will be also talking about the QPay protests and obviously echoing the needs of Bramptonians. But first of all, a very warm welcome to Parvasi Media Group Minister.
Thank you very much, and appreciate the opportunity to be here.
So we saw that a large portion of the fall economic statement is dedicated towards infrastructure, whereas no new funding for healthcare has been announced, especially at the time where the doctors are concerned about a surge in the flu, and they're recommending masks indoors, as well as universities re-implementing masks.
Yeah, so if you look at our budget that we tabled in August, that was just 2 months ago, we put in historic funding for healthcare, the largest healthcare investment that this province has ever seen. So when we look at even last year, through our public accounts, year over year, we spent almost $6.2 billion more than last year. So we are making the investments. That includes making sure that we have more nurses, we have more doctors, we have new medical schools like those in Brampton that are going to be opening up. But most importantly, we're increasing funding to hospitals as well. So we have over a $80 billion budget, $75 billion budget for healthcare. That's the largest. It's grown last year by over 9%. And we're going to continue to make those investments. The issue of healthcare is not just restricted to Ontario. It's all across Canada. It's all across the world right now. And it's not unique to Ontario. But that being said, we put forward a plan in September that put hundreds of millions of dollars into the healthcare system to free up more capacity. We put in 3,100 new beds to account for surge capacity. That's the equivalent of almost 5 new hospitals that we've introduced into the system. And we're going to continue to do that. On top of that, we're building new hospitals all across the province. Just yesterday, Minister Jones was out announcing $168 million to all hospitals across the province to continue maintenance, up-to-date, fixed cost issues across the province. So we will continue to make those investments, and we will continue to ensure that we have the healthcare services we need.
But I also feel that Brampton is in a dire need of a third hospital at the moment, and the welcoming government said that they're bringing in 250 new beds. However, we know that these are non-ambulatory beds, and a place with non-ambulatory 250 beds cannot be considered a hospital. In fact, instead of building a new hospital, which will take us another 10 or 12 years, why are we not extending the number of beds at the existing Brampton Civic Hospital, wherein we can convert the administrative buildings to non-ambulatory or ambulatory rooms?
So first of all, the second hospital will have ambulatory care. That's put forward in the plan since day one. There will be up to a capacity of 350 beds. There will be 204 a 24-hour emergency room. So that will have acute care beds as well. So just want to set that straight. On top of that, within the current Brampton Civic Hospital, they have already increased. William Osler has received over 100 new beds to put into their system, many of which have been converted. So we have added capacity. If you want to look at context with respect to 100 new beds, that's almost larger than some medium-sized hospitals all across the province. So we have put that additional capacity in, especially in Brampton Civic, especially in William Osler's system between Etobicoke. And we've also made the investments necessary to ensure that in the future, we build out a new second hospital with over 300, up to 350 beds. We build out another 24-hour emergency room. And on top of that, we also invest in the Cancer Care Center for Brampton that hasn't had its fair share of access to cancer care in the city.
Yeah. So we're seeing that at one side, healthcare is the sector where we are facing labor shortages. However, on the other hand, recently we've also witnessed that there have been disagreements going on between the Ontario government and the teachers of the province. Um, these teachers, they not only affect one on individual level, but they also define the future of the country. And if they are not satisfied, they're not able to pay their expenses with a 44,000 an annum salary, how can we expect them to help us build a better future for our children and country alike?
The average salary for a teacher, let's say for OSSTF, is $91,000. So just want to make sure that we have that clear. That's the average salary for an OSSTF teacher. On top of that, we have made significant compensation offers to the CUPE union. They have rejected each and every single one of those offers, putting at risk students and their ability to learn. They have, unfortunately, we are very disappointed that they have filed notice to once again shut down classrooms. And since resuming talks, we have actually put forward multiple offers that would have had added hundreds of millions of dollars across the sector, and especially for low-income workers. So we think that it's disappointing that CUPE has rejected those offers. We are still at the table, ready to land a fair deal that invests in more in classrooms and lower income workers and keeps kids in class. Let's not forget that these same members have the best pension out of all of Canada. They have the best pension out of all of Canada. They have the best benefits, over 130 sick days that they are eligible for in a year. Our government has been very fair with our offer. We expect kids to be in the classroom and are disappointed again that CUPE has taken this action to once again shut down our classrooms.
And I think we have not seen lately that the Prime Minister interferes in the matters of the province. But this time, PM Trudeau mentioned to the Ontario government that they should not take extreme measures and terming the protest as illegal. What do you have to say about that?
Well, I think it's very clear on our end. Our goal is to make sure kids stay in school, stay in class. Unfortunately, the unions do not have the kids and children's interest at heart. No, we are focused singularly focused on making sure that students stay in the classroom, students continue to learn, especially after 2 years. We took those steps initially and to ensure that students didn't miss out on learning. We've had 2 years where children have been subjected to conditions in which their mental, social, physical health has suffered. It's incumbent upon all of us to ensure that students have uninterrupted learning in their and access to uninterrupted learning in person in school. We know that that is the most important way and best way for children to learn. And so that is what we are committed to. We are committed to ensuring that students stay in class. We've put forward fair deals, hundreds of millions of dollars of extra dollars on the table for the union. Unfortunately, CUPE has once again taken the action to disrupt the school year, and we are very disappointed by that. And regardless of what the situation is, our government strongly feels that children should not be affected and that they should be in the classroom learning.
Um, Lastly, I think I would really like to echo upon the increasing crime in Brampton at the moment. And you being a resident yourself, we know that Sheridan College Plaza is well known for all the worst reasons. And a few days ago, our chief editor, Rajinder Saini, he interviewed Chief Nish and he questioned him about the rising crime and the preventions that we can take. Chief Nish replied to it, quoting the lack of funds and resources to the Peel Police. So, does the economic budget include any specific allocations to the Peel Police, especially when we have lost so many officers recently?
Yeah, absolutely. We've made large investments, especially into guns and gangs. We have over $80 million invested, much of which two of the largest busts that have happened in the recent months. 2 weeks ago, we had one of the largest drug seizures in Peel. That seizure happened because of provincial funding that was given for a special unit that both the Peel Police and other forces used on. A couple months before that, the largest crackdown on the stolen theft vehicles. That was also conducted through funding given by the provincial government. What we also need to work on is bail reform. One of the things that we hear most, and the federal government needs to take into consideration, especially the Prime Minister, is to make sure that our laws are those in which that deter people from committing these crimes. If an individual, you talk to many police officers on the ground, if they commit a crime, they're out the next day on bail. You know, somebody shoots somebody or found with a gun. Some of those officers express their frustration as to how quickly they can get out of the justice system on bail and reoffend. We need stricter laws in this country. We need to ensure that those who are breaking the law are punished and pay the price. But our government will continue to be steadfast in our commitment to funding against guns and gangs and violence that is happening in our community. And we've done that with over $88 million to support our frontline officers.